Hey y'all, welcome back to the homestead. If you haven't been here before, I'm Sherilyn. If you've been here before, hi friends. And I just want to take you around today and show you my mess. Sometimes homesteading can be a little overwhelming, even on a small scale like mine. There's just a few things going on and we're in transition. And I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm going to take you around and let you see what's going on. But hey, look, I canned okra. Okay, starting out here, it's about 4 big yards of compost I'm going to have to move before the fall garden season comes. Yay! Fun, fun, fun. This is an old tub I got at a yard sale, and I really want to paint this and make it a beautiful planter, but I don't know where I want to put it yet. So it's just sort of sitting here. Now this is a mess. I've been in the process of moving things around. Things are just kind of messy here. My neighbor gave me these old pieces of metal, and I thought they'd make a great trellis. Here's where I got some limbs, and they were really straight limbs. Look at this. Nice and straight. And I'm gonna put them over here in the corner to let the leaves fall off so I can use the leaves for mulch. But I thought that those limbs would make really good little teepee structures in the garden. This is going to get painted and go over my front door. This needs to find a home. But everything is a mess because everything's moving from place to place. My lawnmower isn't working. But I was able to get some hay. And here are some wild elderberry bushes we dug up out of my sister's pasture yesterday. I'm going to plant those in a little bit. Here's another project. This is gutters, and they're going to go up on the back of the house. We're going to start harvesting rainwater. More things that I'm in the middle of washing, getting back in. I have no place to put my potting stuff right now because everything's been shuffling around. That is weed barrier, not trash. I'll put that pizza box down, probably around the elderberries that I plant today. And potting soil. There's my compost thing. This project, this is a mess right here. I'm just taking you around, showing you my mess, so maybe it'll make you feel better if you have a mess. This is a project. It's going to go long ways across the fence back there, but I can't do it until I get the gutters up there. And this is going to be like a little, it's going to have plastic and shade cloth. It's going to be kind of like a little greenhouse area, and I'm going to make it really cute. Of course, you can't tell that by the way it looks now. It's an old carport. And this was my failed attempt. So I've just sat here looking at this mess for a couple of weeks. I've come up with a plan that I believe is going to work. So that'll be on a different video. Here, I brought these little boxes out because I thought I would put these little boxes at the front of the garden because, as you can see, the front of the garden just doesn't have any structure, and the grass was growing back over into all the rows, and the mulch was spilling out, and it just didn't look like it had a defined edge or a defined entrance. It was just a bunch of poles and trellises and things growing wild. And I want to make a beautiful, entrance here when this is over there, and there's planter boxes around it and in it, and that's a good place for taking care of garden produce, and a place where I'm going to start seeds, and a place where I can propagate plants. It's just going to be lovely eventually. I know it's hard to tell looking at that, but I just don't like these boxes here, so these boxes will probably frame that up. Another thing, well, let me show you something pretty. This is looking cute. This is those cattle mineral buckets that I got, and this little pathway is looking cute except for the uncovered cardboard in the back. It's a mess, you guys. I feel a little overwhelmed. We have got the chickens moved, a new chicken run. And here I've got the stuff from when the baby chicks were eating. I've got to take that and wash it really good and put it away. There's the baby chicks in the coop. These are the ones I hatched out of the incubator. And their water needs to be cleaned. I don't know if you can see them. And there's my big chicken. And I need to rebuild that little coop. It's falling apart. But that's where they like to lay eggs. I've got a shade cloth up over the chickens. And another over here. Now here's a whole other mess. I've pulled things out and they're laying out everywhere and I haven't yet put everything back. But here is the fertilizer crew. This is our little fertilizer factory. We've got these bunnies. This is Buster and Babs, and Sparky and Rosie Rabbit. And they're out here under this nice awning, under this tree, and under the shade cloth. And they think I'm over here to feed them. But aren't they so cute? They're going to make this beautiful garden gold fertilizer. And this is a horrible mess. This is all the stuff, the buckets that I use to haul compost, the pea gravel for landscaping. Everything in this little greenhouse is my potting stuff for potting up plants, and it's all just shoved in there. The fertilizer and everything is all just shoved in there. And here's my chicken and rabbit feed buckets. I did come out here the other day and I painted the shed, and it hadn't been painted in about 13 years. And I painted that and I set up this little area, and this is just, this is just a for now. This is not a perfect rabbit hutch. It's just for now. We're on some cinder blocks with some boards, span between the cinder blocks, and then their cages fit neatly on here. And it works for now. And there's a little fan out here that I put on them in the heat of the day because it's hot. It's getting up to 100 degrees. So there's the chicken. Let's go back here and see what's going on. Here's all my green stalks that I never put together, never planted up because I'm going to wait for fall. And they've just sort of become part of this junky landscape. Finally, I was able to get some hay because I was trying to choke out this grass, and this cardboard's just gone crazy. And I was finally able to get some hay. We've had hay shortages. This is the area where the chicken run was, and I'm sort of just storing these pieces of metal and things that are small trellises. And put down some cardboard to choke out the weeds. Back here I want to plant like some banana trees and some fruit trees. But you can see I better get on it because the weeds are starting to grow back. And here's another bed. And I've just laid the cardboard down to block the weeds. And I needed to store this wood somewhere, so I just threw it here. I have no place to store anything. It's very frustrating. Here in this area, I think I've decided I'm going to get dwarf fruit trees and citrus trees and grow them in these planters. This is the raised bed garden. This is the perennial herb garden, so it's fine. It's just doing its own thing. And there's sage, basil, oregano, rosemary. I have a few flowers that volunteered from last year. There's my cart because I've moved everything around and I don't know where I want to put it. There's some volunteer sweet potatoes. These tomatoes have just spent. They're totally spent. They're not even producing flowers anymore, but the green is still growing. That's weird. They're like 6 foot, 7 foot tall, and every now and then a tomato will pop out. I do need to get them out of here though. Here's something beautiful. I mean, there are weeds that need to come out. This is assorted zinnias, and I planted down both of these rows with those seeds. And you can see what came up. This was supposed to be helicopter. This was supposed to be 2 beautiful rows of flowers, zinnias and marigolds, and the seeds just did not germinate well. And I just think it's because my soil was just way too loose and not holding any water. This little rose just put out a big flush, but it's looking a little puny. And there's some pretty vincas. The cranberry hibiscus is massive. This is the blue creamberry tomato, and it's massive. It's still putting out fruit. The fruit still tastes good. It's not putting out as much. And it was full of squash bugs the other day. So I'm going to take this out. I'm telling you, it just looks pitiful back here. There's some amaranth going to seed that needs to come out. Some lago spinach. I'm still harvesting on that. I made a quiche with that. This red Malabar spinach has gone to seed, and the leaves are a little bitter. I planted loofahs back here, and only one of them has come up. Right here, this little guy. He's doing pretty good. And this bed is where I planted the store-bought black-eyed peas. And we have very poor germination. And some of them have come up, and I was going to, when they flowered, I was going to chop them off and let them be chop and drop mulch. But I had such small germination, just such a small germination rate, that I decided to just let them grow and go to seed, and I'll harvest this seed for cover crop black-eyed peas. Another volunteer cranberry hibiscus. And here's my 3 okra plants that germinated. I had gotten some compost, and it was fertile, you know, it was full of nutrients, but it was very, it would get dense in the bottom of the beds, and the top of the beds would get very crusty. It's like it was, where it just wouldn't take the water in and hold the water properly. It didn't have any like leaves or wood chips. You know, it's time to pull this garden out, guys, but I'm just one more thing to do. And here is the Berries Crazy Cherry, covered with tomatoes and blight. It's got to come out. The green beans died. I didn't get a huge harvest. I got about 2 gallons worth of green beans. That's them. I'll know to get them in sooner in the year, but we had the poor germination rate and had to replant them. I'll get them in sooner next year, probably mid-February here in South Florida. So this is it. This is the mess. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but I've got some plans, got some changes. There's a few green beans. Maybe these will make a little fresh snack. The grass is taking over. And my plans are for this, it's 10 by 20. It's going to come long ways this way. So it'll be all over here and over there. I'm going to put the black plastic down to kill all the grass and the weeds. And then I think I am, I don't know. This cardboard is here to lay down in the pathways if I can weed them. And here's my mess. Then let's look at one last thing. These are the beefsteak tomatoes we planted together back in March. And I just canned some diced tomatoes. I've been eating fresh every day. This branch needs to be tied up, but look at that. We've still got tomatoes. They're starting to get the blight. We've had about 10 inches of rain. And look, we've got squash bugs. Can you see them? They're on the tomatoes. They're eating the tomatoes. They make me mad. But I'm at the point, since this, right there he is. I hope you can see him. He's trying to be elusive. Here are these guys. I don't see many more flowers. There are a few flowers. You know, I keep saying, oh, I just need to pull stuff out. It's getting too hot. It's 100 degrees. Stuff's got blight. And then I see a flower, and I think, this wants to make a tomato for me, and I can't bring him out. I need to prune this desperately. I've very much been neglecting the garden. But, there she is. I've got huge plans, though. We're going to start going into more of a permaculture type thing. We're going to be bringing in some fruit trees and bushes and different things like that. Some other perennials. And this area back here, where these two beds are, I'm going to take these beds out. And this one's wider than this one. Wider, narrower. I'm going to take these beds out, take up the plastic in between, and in here I'm going to make like a semicircle or a semi-oval. I'm going to put the dirt there, and then we're going to start growing like a food forest type thing right here. That's where I'll probably put a few banana trees, some pigeon peas, some other things. I'm learning about more of those things. So we're going to put that area there, and these beds I'll have to cut some, maybe cut these boards down. I think these beds I'm going to use to frame up the front of the garden. And back there, along the fence, I'm going to start making more like a permaculture zone as well, with perennials and some fruit bushes and trees. This has just been a spur of the moment kind of video, and just was bringing you guys out here to see all this mess. I hope that you are encouraged. If you have a mess, you're not alone. This is part of the reason as well I'm not doing garden videos right now. If you want to see a really great garden video of how you can have a tropical summer garden, I have a video out called What I'm Growing in August in My South Florida Garden. And that video is out. I'll try to link it at the end of this one. And you can see all the great food you can grow. I gave the garden a rest this summer. I'm just sort of letting it just peter out, and I'm really neglecting it, and I shouldn't, but I am, and that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes it's okay to not be perfect. Sometimes it's okay to even be messy. Well, listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you stayed till the end, thank you so much. And this is Sherilyn from Just Goodness 333 Little Homestead, and I will see you soon when we are going to be building the plant nursery area, the Greenish House 2.0. I still don't know what to name it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.